Hey, speed demons and car lovers! Today we're diving into the loud, proud, and unapologetically fast world of classic GM muscle cars. We're talking big engines, eye-watering speed, and enough horsepower to make your grandma faint. Buckle up, because we're about to take you on a ride through the top 10 fastest classic GM muscle cars that made every other car on the road feel like it was stuck in reverse. Ready? Let's hit the gas and go! The 1969 Chevrolet Nova SS. Top speed, 127 miles an hour. Let's kick things off with the unsuspecting ninja of muscle cars, the 1969 Chevrolet Nova SS. You know that kid in school who never talked but could secretly beat everyone at video games? That's the Nova SS. Starting life as the Chevy 2 back in 1962, it was meant to be a no-frills family car, the kind you'd see pulling into the driveway with a couple of grocery bags in the back. But add the SS package and slap in a 396 cubic inch engine, and suddenly this grocery getter becomes a street assassin. At 127 miles an hour, this family car went from hauling groceries to hauling you down the quarter mile faster than your neighbor could say, "Isn't that your mom's car?" The Nova SS was small, but that's what made it so dangerous. Lightweight and packing heat. It's the kind of car you didn't see coming until it was already gone. The 1970 Pontiac Gran Prix SJ 455. Top speed, 128 miles an hour. Next up, we've got the 1970 Pontiac Gran Prix SJ, a car that took luxury and power and smashed them together like peanut butter and jelly. If peanut butter and jelly could hit 128 miles an hour. Now, the Gran Prix SJ was marketed as a personal luxury vehicle, but let's be honest, what's more luxurious than having so much power that the speedometer can barely keep up? Equipped with a massive 455 cubic inch engine, this car was like a velvet-covered sledgehammer. It had all the bells and whistles inside, but under the hood, it was pure, unadulterated muscle. Imagine pulling up to a fancy dinner in this bad boy. You'd roll up in style, but when the light turns green, you're leaving everyone in the dust. Luxury? Sure. Muscle? Absolutely. The Gran Prix SJ was all about showing that you could have your cake and eat it too, and then do a burnout right after. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle 454 SS. Top speed, 130 miles an hour. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle 454 SS. This car is so legendary it deserves its own movie. Forget superheroes, the Chevelle SS 454 was the real star of the streets. GM lifted their engine restrictions in 1970, and what did Chevy do? They threw in a 454 cubic inch monster that could power a small town. This wasn't just a car, it was a statement. At 130 miles an hour, the Chevelle SS 454 didn't just go fast, it owned the road. It's the kind of car that made you want to grow a mustache, toss on some aviators, and blast classic rock as you left everyone behind in a cloud of tire smoke. People didn't just see the Chevelle, they felt it. The 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4. Top speed, 130 miles an hour. Up next, we've got the 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge, equipped with the Ram Air 4. This wasn't just any muscle car, this was the muscle car that looked like it was about to take you to court and then crush you in the parking lot afterward. The GTO Judge was Pontiac's answer to the Plymouth Roadrunner, and with the Ram Air 4 400 cubic inch engine, it could hit 130 miles an hour while making it look easy. Officially rated at 370 horsepower, Pontiac may as well have whispered, "It's more like 420, but..." This car was fast, mean, and had the kind of swagger that made you want to punch the sky every time you heard the engine roar. If you wanted to show off and still blow the doors off the competition, the GTO Judge was your ride. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30, top speed, 135 miles an hour. When you think Oldsmobile, you might picture Grandpa's old four-door sedan, but let me stop you right there. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30 was not your grandpa's car. This thing was a wolf in sheep's clothing, a 455 cubic inch beast disguised as a mild-mannered Olds. But throw down the pedal and suddenly this car turned into a fire-breathing dragon that could hit 135 miles an hour without breaking a sweat. The W30 package was a factory-built hot rod, and Motor Trend didn't mince words when they called it a drag racing machine. The 442 was Oldsmobile's way of saying, "We can be fast too," and boy, did they prove it. The 1970 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Top speed, 135 miles an hour. The 1970 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 was more than just a car. It was Chevy's way of sticking it to anyone who doubted their ability to build a speed machine. Midway through the year, Chevy dropped this beauty onto the scene, and the world hasn't been the same since. With the Corvette-sourced LT1 engine under the hood, the Z28 was quick, agile, and had the kind of looks that made every other car jealous. It could hit 135 miles an hour and was as fast as anything else on the road, even with a smaller 350 cubic inch engine. The Z28 was the Camaro that made people say, "Oh, it's not just a pretty face, it's got moves too." The 1970 Buick Gran Sport 455 Stage 1. Top speed, 135 miles an hour. Let's take a minute to appreciate that Buick, of all brands, made a muscle car that could rip down the road at 135 miles an hour. The 1970 Buick Gran Sport 455 Stage 1 was like James Bond, sophisticated on the outside but packing a serious punch when needed. With a 455 cubic inch engine, Buick wasn't messing around. This car could run with the big dogs and still look classy doing it. It was the muscle car equivalent of wearing a tuxedo to a bar fight. Sure, you might look out of place, but once the punches start flying, everyone realizes you mean business. Buick may have been known for luxury, but the Gran Sport Stage 1 was all about power. The 1967 Chevrolet Camaro SS 396. Top speed, 140 miles an hour. The 1967 Chevrolet Camaro SS 396 is what happens when you let the engineers off the leash. While GM had a weird rule about not letting the Camaro outshine the Corvette, that didn't stop them from giving it a 396 cubic inch engine that could hit 140 miles an hour. This Camaro was a street fighter in disguise, and while Chevy tried to keep the horsepower under wraps, everyone who got behind the wheel knew it had way more to give. The Camaro SS was designed to make Mustangs look like toy cars. With its sleek design and power-packed engine, this car was built for one thing, leaving the competition in the rear-view mirror. The 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 455 Super Duty. Top speed, 155 miles an hour. In 1973, muscle cars were dying off, but Pontiac wasn't ready to give up the fight. The 1973 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 455 Super Duty was their middle finger to the death of the muscle car era. It had a 455 cubic inch engine that could hit a blistering 155 miles an hour, making it one of the fastest muscle cars ever built. While other cars were getting softer, the Firebird was getting meaner. It was the last of the true muscle cars, and with its outrageous speed, it didn't just survive the 70s, it dominated them. Only 455 of these bad boys were sold, but they left a lasting impression on anyone lucky enough to see one in action. The 1963 Pontiac Tempest Super Duty. Top speed, 163 miles an hour. Last but not least, we've got the 1963 Pontiac Tempest Super Duty. A car so fast it might as well have come with a cape. Only 12 were ever made, but those 12 were legends. With a 421 cubic inch engine, the Tempest Super Duty could hit an insane 163 miles an hour. That's right, 163 miles an hour in a car that was built in the early 60s. This was the car that made people realize muscle cars could be more than just street machines. They could be race-ready monsters. It was the kind of car that went up for auction decades later and sold for $250,000. And when you're packing that kind of speed, it's worth every penny. And that's the wrap, folks. These 10 classic GM muscle cars didn't just define an era, they ruled it. So whether you're a muscle car aficionado or just love the sound of a roaring V8, these cars are guaranteed to make your pulse race. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Your support means the world to us.